Hello everyone, and welcome back to RotMG Ramble. Season 21 just started, which means the end of Season 20 and the end of my Archer PPE. If you've been watching the past few episodes, you would have seen my Archer and its current state, but now the crown is passed to the Huntress. You'll see some clips from my Archer early in the video, but I will mostly be playing my Huntress from now on. I really hope you enjoy, and as always, thank you so much for watching. So, my Archer is fully exalted now, and I have almost my perfect set, but there was one thing that I was really missing, other than shinies and I guess the green bee quiver from Advanced Nest, and that is a speedy quiver. And if you don't know, that drops from Cursed Library, and one day I just logged on and I got it, which was just completely baffling. I think it was literally the second library of the day. I don't even have that many on this Archer, but that was a pretty good drop to get. So I wanted to start off by saying how well last season went. I don't think I've ever exalted a class as quickly as I have my Archer. Actually, I definitely have not. And I did almost every single exalt on this one Archer, which is just crazy. I want to exalt bow classes next. I've already done swords. I really wanted to make some sort of melee, probably a knight PPE, because they just added scaling to knight abilities. They gave knight a rework. But considering I already have knight exalted, I feel like I would kind of lose motivation. So I decided, why not try the Archer rework out, which is really good. I love Archer now. And I fully exalted Archer, so they just reworked Huntress pretty recently as well. So that was my thought process behind making a Huntress PPE for this season. And with a new season comes a new Crucible. Now, it's unfortunate this Crucible is seasonal only. I don't know why they did that. Last season, that wasn't a thing, and last season's Crucible was really challenging. This one is, in my opinion at least, nowhere near as challenging, and in fact, if you have a really bad pet, you will probably not even see a difference. So, talking about the new season, if you don't know, they basically doubled drop rates across the board, or more than that, they said. There were some whites that I don't think got a drop rate increase. However, I have totally noticed the drop rate increase, as you'll see in this video. The Crucible might help, maybe the new Enchantment system, which I'll talk about later, helps, but I think primarily it is the drop rate increases that they did. I have been getting drops like crazy. And it's not just white bags either. You can even see in this clip, I already got the ST staff, and you can see the two little diamonds on it. I'll talk about that later. So they definitely buffed the drop rates of STs as well. And in this clip, I also maxed Wiz, first stat, 1-8. For this PPE, I am also going to be using stuff from the mission tree and the battle pass, and I think it's only fair. I'm going to be doing the entire season, basically, hopefully, on this one character. And from one of the chests from the mission tree, I got the candy ring, which I use for a little bit. Right here, I max speed, and I leave the Vit pot in the bag for some reason. I don't know why I thought I was maxed. And right here, also super early on, I get a pretty rare drop. I've never had this item before, the Cavalry Lance, and I haven't used it at all since, because I haven't even gotten the chance to try it. This clip doesn't seem important. It's just a death pot, but I get the turtle pet skin. And this turtle becomes a super lucky boon for this Huntress. I put the frog in slot 7 for good luck, and it will stay there until I die. I will bring this frog to my grave. And before I talk about the enchantment system, I want to mention that I'm trying some new edits in this video, and I would like to see how you like them. I'm practicing my editing for the PPE video that will either come when this Huntress dies or at the end of the season. So please let me know how you like some of the editing in the comments. And one last thing before we discuss the new enchantment system. are the new UT items that they added. There's a new weapon for each class, and they drop from already existing dungeons, early and mid-game dungeons. From what I've seen, the staff and the wand are the two best. I think the staff is really fucking good, and the wand actually gets better. The wand is from Cursed Library, and the wand synergizes with the tome from Cursed Library as well. I think it makes it so the shots curse. And then there's also some new abilities, and I say new in quotes because they're not actually new abilities. They're reskins, technically, of already existing abilities, but those already existing abilities were limited or exclusive to events. So, for example, there's a sheath that drops from one of the Vindication bosses that only drops from that Vindication boss, and it's actually a unique UT. It's not a reskin of anything. Now, that sheath can drop from the Vindication boss, but there's also a reskin of it that drops from High Tech Terror. So, there is a orb, there's a helmet, there's a skull, and the sheath, and I think that's it. However, there's one more, and that is the Echoes Prism got a rework. It is now the prism that drops from, I think it's Ram, the Pirate Queen from the Vindication event. The Echoes Prism got a rework. It is like the prism from Ram, the Pirate Queen, like I said, I think it is. And there is the new sword, by the way, the Spectral Sword. The shots it shoots two shots like a D-blade, but they're closer together. And then they go out, and then they kind of hook to the right. Sort of like the Fury Flail, if you've seen that. So the prism, they changed the Echoes Prism to be like this prism. It no longer has the recall effect, where you place down a point where you're standing, and then you press the prism again to return to that point. Because for some reason, they said it was like hard to design around or whatever, so they're just changing its functionality completely. So let's get into the new enchantment system now. All items have a chance to drop with enchantment slots. If you were around when they tested enchants for the first time ever, it's kinda similar to how that system worked. So items can drop with either no enchantment slots, or they can drop with up to 4. Getting 4 is really rare though. When you craft an item, it also has a chance to roll for slots. And also when you craft, you can take items of the same rarity and have higher odds to get more enchantment slots. For example, if you craft a divinity with multiple divinities that have 2 slots, the one that you craft has a guaranteed chance to have 2 slots. And it also increases the chance for a higher tier divinity. There's a bunch of new enchantments as well, and they're generally weaker than what they were before this update. Relative enchants used to be pretty OP, but now they are much weaker, but they can still be strong depending on your build. There's still a few really overpowered enchants, in my opinion, specifically the mana and health regen enchants. Those are especially strong. There's also a few enchants that are intentionally more powerful. Some items also have awakened enchants that significantly increase the power of an item or change its functionality completely. For example, EP from Sprite World has an awakened enchant that turns it into a regular staff, kind of similar shot pattern to the Superior from Dama in Oryx's Sanctuary, and it's pretty strong actually. If you are making a staff class, I would either go for this staff on screen right now from the Wood Lab, or get an Awakened EP. Both are really good. Along with this, shiny items have a guaranteed chance to have 2 slots. There was actually a bug earlier in the season where I think it was the new shinies that were released for this season were not guaranteed to have 2 slots, but I think that's fixed now. So this is more of an incentive to play seasonal than there already is. I actually don't like this. So when I'm playing my normal characters now, which is not very often, I now know that I'm straight up missing out on potentially better gear. If I get a regular Enforcer on my normal character, it couldn't have been shiny, so I couldn't have gotten 2 guaranteed slots. And this Enforcer I just got as a drop has the potential to get no slots. But if I played seasonal, I could get a shiny Enforcer potentially, and that would have guaranteed 2 slots. So now moving on to the Enchanter, which got a total rework, and it also looks different in the vault as well. There is now no way to upgrade modifiers, or enchants, whatever. You just have to roll and hope for the best. If you get attack bonus 2, you cannot upgrade it to attack bonus 3 or attack bonus 4 or anything. I think this really fucking sucks. I think it should totally be changed back to how it was. There's just so many filler enchantments that really no one would ever use. So getting the correct enchantment and then also having it be high level, either 3, but really you want 4, it's pretty hard to get and just grindy. You're using so much dust. So you can reroll all of the enchantments on an item, or you can lock one of the enchantments if you like it. For example, let's say you got attack bonus 4, but then the other ones are like plus wisdom, minus vitality, and then like something else that's garbage that you don't want. You can lock attack bonus 4 and then reroll the other garbage ones, which I like. So just gonna take a little pause here real quick talking about enchanting. There's a clip upcoming with live commentary for a crazy drop for this Huntress. You gotta watch it. I wish I recorded more of the reaction, but it's still an insane drop to get this early. I am so fucking clutch sometimes, it's actually baffling. White bag! No way! That's real? Oh my! Oh my god! Oh my god! So, yeah, a fucking shiny Makako Yumi. That is literally a drop I never would have thought I would have ever gotten here. And then, not too long after, I get this fucking drop, and I get a fucking shiny leaf bow as well. Just fucking insane shiny luck. For my other Archer, I think the only shiny that I got that I could actually use on that Archer was shiny Warmonger. Don't get me wrong, shiny Warmonger is still really cool and probably really rare, but Warmonger, in my opinion, just isn't that good of a bow, and I literally never fucking used it, which is such a shame. I really wish I got a shiny Void Bow last season. It would have been so fucking sick. Anyways, back to talking about enchanting and just the new systems in general. So you can see from those 2 clips that I just showed that both shiny items came with 2 slots, and those are guaranteed, like I said. And how that works is when an item drops, they have a 50% chance to roll for 1 mod. It's a coin flip whether they get 1 mod. Then, if that coin flip succeeds, then it's like a 33% chance to then add another mod. So I think that's what, like a 1 in 6 chance to get 2 mods or something like that. Then it'll roll for a 3rd mod, and that's a 25% chance or something. Then the 4th mod is like a 12.5% chance, a 1 in 8. So getting a divine item, I guess I should clarify, an item with 1 slot is uncommon, 2 slots is rare, 3 slots is legendary, and 4 slots, the highest you can get, is divine. Yes, you can technically now have a divine divinity. It sounds stupid as fuck, and it doesn't really make any sense, but it's still pretty cool and really rare. So yes, getting a divine item is quite rare, and also something I'm changing from the last few videos for the RotMG Ramble just going forward. I showed a lot of exaltation clips where I just finish a dungeon and I don't get any loot, I just get a blue bag. But I thought to myself, oh, maybe it's important to show every exaltation dungeon I do so people actually know, I don't think it's really that important. I think having those filler clips they're straight up just filler clips where there's nothing really of substance being shown. I will just show from now on whenever I exalt a stat, whether it be 1-5, 2-5, or 5-5. I will just show exalt progress whenever it happens. I'm probably not going to show any more filler clips where I get +1 dungeon out of 75. I don't think it's very interesting to watch. And speaking of interesting to watch, white bags are a lot more common. I don't know if, I mean, I mentioned it sort of at the beginning of the video, but white bag drop rates are just fucking insane. I don't know what they actually boosted the rates by, but it must have been quite a lot because I said in the beginning, I'm getting a lot of white bags. So hopefully videos will be more entertaining. You'll be able to see a lot more of the loot. And I want to talk about Umi specifically. Umi seems to have insane white bag drop rates now. I have no idea what it is, but I got the shiny Macaco Yumi. Then you saw I got the Scepter, and the Scepter had 2 mods, which was pretty lucky. Then I got the fucking Kage no Hikari. I get 2 more bows, and the 3rd bow that I get has fucking 3 slots on it. I do not understand why the rates are so high, but honestly, you know what? I'm not fucking complaining because the rates before were fucking dog shit. You could literally do like 40, 50 Umis and get fucking nothing, and it's so demotivating. And then now you can do 5 Umis and easily get a white bag. Especially if you're doing the hard mode, which if you're doing Umis, I highly recommend you do anyway. Just get gear, like straight up dog shit garbage gear from the Midlands that has like a lot of slots on it, like legendary or divine, and get flat life regen 4 on it, or percent life regen 4 if you have a lot of HP. So yes, the Umi rates are fucking insane, but also I don't think it's just the Umi whites. I think it's just all whites in general just have a really high drop rate now. Well, not really high, you know, they're still uncommon, but they are much more common than they were before. I remember doing 120 O3s on my Pally that's on my Realmai right now. That Pally used to be a PPE, but I got a cubic seal, the seal that slows, on a different character, and I just didn't really want to grind for it on my Pally, so I put the seal on there, and that Pally's no longer a PPE. But that Paladin, I did 120 O3s until I got a Divinity. It took me that fucking long to get a Divinity. And I also didn't have the blueprint for it, for that PPE. So it was just straight up, go do O3s forever and ever until I finally get a Divinity. I haven't even done an O3 on this character yet, just because I don't really do Discord runs. I guess I could technically join a party and maybe they would like leak an O3, but I'm just not really interested in doing O3s right now. I'm having a ton of fun just doing Moonlight Villages, doing Shatters especially. Also, I didn't mention this, but tiered items are now also craftable. If you have, so let's say I want to make a tier 14 bow, and I solo 4 shatters, but I don't get a bow. I can take the 4 tier 14 weapons that I get guaranteed because I soloed the shatters, and I can craft them into a tier 14 bow. And I think the same rules apply. Let's say you have 4 tier 14 weapons with 1 slot. The tier 14 weapon you craft is guaranteed to have 1 slot, and it has a higher chance to roll for the other slots as well. Well, it doesn't have a higher chance, but you skip the first roll, which in turn increases your likelihoods overall. So that's actually what I did for this Huntress. Unfortunately, the tier 14 bow I got had 0 mods, which really fucking sucked, because now I gotta go run more shatters. But that's fine, I'm comfortable doing shatters. At first, I didn't want to risk my shiny Macaco Yumi, but I realized how, good it actually is in shatters. You can kill enemies from a pretty far away distance. You can sit on Archmage with it, you can sit on the tablets with it. When King is doing a blue crystal phase, you can snipe him and still do a ton of damage. when King is doing Guitar Hero phase, you can snipe him and still do a ton of damage. Makako Yumi is just really good. I think I mentioned mostly everything. I'm gonna wrap the video up here. I am super excited for this season, given how it's going right now. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. And again, in the comments, tell me how you liked some of the editing, specifically the shiny Makako Yumi and the shiny Leaf Bow drop. I spent extra time on those edits. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you, hopefully, in the next video. Later, guys.